see what's going on first, and then I definitely want to continue on that.
Deer management resolution monthly update.
WMI has conducted these reviews previously for other states and has identified a team and a outlined timeline for when and how this review will take place. We've also determined the grant appropriations and process moving forward for an agreement. Now, additional work is needed, but we anticipate a formalized agreement to occur sometime in July or August and can report back with more details at that time. So I will pause there if there are any questions before moving on to the earn a second buck update.
Chad, I would just commend the department for moving as fast as what you have on this. I know I greatly appreciate it. I view this as essential to the commission moving forward and able to carry out our duties. So just thank you to the entire department for moving quickly on this.
Appreciate that, Commissioner Fewens. All right, moving forward, update on the progress for our Earn a Second Buck pilot, which was requested at the May meeting. Staff are finalizing recommendations to propose an Earn a Second Buck pilot to the commission that will be brought forward in July, with an expected final commission action to occur in August. This might seem like a very quick timeline, but that timeline is based on a 6-month development window that will be required for our programming updates to our harvest reporting and retail sales system to make sure that everything is ready ahead of the license sales for 2027, which begins in March. Since the last commission meeting, when the resolution was passed, staff have been working to identify the locations
so
where
this
the
is
regulation would occur,
part of the amendments that was brought up last month.
Yes.
Where this is monthly now, where we have to be updated.
Yes.
Project evaluation, design,
That's what I was talking
And then July they need to come out with the pilot program, like what it is, by the July meeting, I think, right? What counties and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, there it goes.
Also spent time
So it'll be July and then August to be able to set forth the
of
plan to put into place to develop everything they need to develop for 6 months so it can be launched for 2027 license sales
Yep.
in March.
Correct.
Yep.
Effects of additional.
changes that were already passed in May. And finally, staff are also working on approaches to address potential false reporting of antlerless deer harvest in Earn a Second Buck areas. We're addressing this from both a deterrence and enforcement for false reporting, as well as developing methods for data correction to ensure harvest reporting will be reliable for comparing harvest results across the state. So with that, I will pause and ask if there are any questions.
From my lens, the accuracy is everything. For me, looking at data, the importance of having accurate data and the danger of having what we refer to as ghostos reported, it's everything. So we got to make sure that however we construct this, that we're getting as accurate information as possible. Otherwise, the data is useless. And I think that we all understand that. So I just want to emphasize that. Besides the impact on doe density, are we looking at the impact on CWD that this could have?
That is one of the many metrics that we'll look at. Obviously, there's going to be some limitations based on where the pilot areas are included. So some counties may not have had chronic wasting disease identified yet. Some might have a small amount previously identified. So a lot will be determined based on some of the surveillance history that we have existing in those counties, the number of positives that we've had, and certainly we'll be focusing on really the harvest change over time. And that obviously has the potential to be put into multiple models that are already established that we can look to evaluate potential forward impacts of that regulation on the disease.
The ability to have, I think, in my opinion, 2 data sets, with 1 buck regulation in lower Michigan, along with this pilot is critical. I think there's a lot to be gained from having these multiple data sets. So I appreciate, once again, the department moving as quick as what you have on this.
That role Chad plays is crucial.
Commissioner Easter?
Just curious what criteria you're using to develop the geographical range of the project test areas, and generally have you included how much of the state's going to be covered to this during the second buck?
Yeah, we're
Test.
close. Sorry, we're close to finalizing what that looks like. That should be done here in the next day or two. But ultimately, we're looking at multiple paired counties. I believe the resolution primarily stated Zone 3. So we are focusing largely in the southern half of Michigan.
Multiple counties.
And
Mhm.
general
I think they said 3.
is
Okay.
based off of some of the previous APR evaluations that we had. So we have these paired townships in those previous townships in that study. We're looking at county level implementation with this current design. So the July meeting where Dr. Rudolph and Dr. Eder, who's our research specialist, will be fairly comprehensive in terms of outlining how those pairings took place, what we're looking at, and what went into that decision-making process.
Just from my standpoint, it seems like, and I don't know how big of a project you guys are looking at, but for me, it needs to be substantial, so that you can actually generate some real data from it. And I mean, if it seems like if it's too small, if it's not aggressive enough, that you're going to have limited data that really won't tell you much. And that's really important to see how this is going to work, is that it be a fairly substantial area, and I assume that when you say pairing, you're trying to take like counties, for instance,
Correct.
have similar characteristics and compare them against each other.
Correct, yeah. Or we're looking at right now a tentative proposal of 5 paired counties. So there would be a treatment applied to 5 counties, which our staff has determined would be sufficient to determine what the impact of that.
So is 5
regulation
paired
would look
counties
like.
mean there's going to be 10 total? 5 that have it and 5 that don't? Like there should be a gap.
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee you Kent County is going to be in there. Kent, Ionia, and Montcalm. Oh, Montcalm is in Zone 2.
I don't know how many counties we have eligible for that.
What's the one down by
Three,
Detroit
but
that they always have too many does?
5 seems not overly aggressive, but I guess we'll see what.
5 counties is a lot.
That's a
especially-
lot for a pilot study. That's a lot. Like, one's a fluke, two's a coincidence, three's a pattern. I don't know why you go
Give
over
us a
3.
little insight on registering.
Especially when you look at the
doe
deer
harvest. Is it going to
density
be
in some of these
in
counties
person
is
at a check
substantial.
station, or are you gonna rely
Absolutely.
just on
Car deer
technology?
accidents, all that.
We're focused on a process that, if this regulation would ultimately be successful or desirable to move forward in the future, something that we can maintain, or expand, across a broader area. So with that, we're really leaning in toward the technology side of things, because of the capacity to, then the limitations to conduct an in-person.
Yeah, man. I think Kalamazoo was in it. I
So,
know Kent County was in it.
Short answer is we're looking more on the technology side.
There was a couple counties that did that. I think Ionia had APR for a little bit.
Ghost does from, I know this is a dangerous topic, other states. But can you recall from Virginia the prominence of ghost does that they assumed in their earn a second buck when they had that policy?
I know the presentation you're talking about. I don't have that metric committed to memory. So with that, I'd hate to guess at it in a public forum.
Maybe for July then, when
We can
back up here?
certainly include that in the July update. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Ewens?
I do feel like
I
5 counties is a
understand
lot.
relying on
It's too much.
technology. I think at least for the pilot, if we're not doing mandatory check-in, it really concerns me about the ability to scam the system. I mean, once again, we got to have accurate data. And if we can't get that, then it's worthless. The whole effort is in vain, really. So I would just really emphasize, at least for the pilot, we tried, and I know it's intensive on the staff, and there's a cost associated with that. I get that. But I really believe that we got to have some type of mandatory check-in. Otherwise, I don't know that I have confidence in the accuracy of the data that we're going to get out of it.
Mandatory check-in for the Earn a Buck
Mr.
pilot program,
Commissioner,
like those people are shooting that. 'Cause I
I'm
thought,
confident we will be able to prepare to discuss this fully at the July meeting once the entirety of the project, including all the context that went into the development.
I mean,
is able to be brought
I
forward.
would like some sort of a mandatory physical check-in, just because, you know, eliminating those, what they're calling now ghost does.
so is he saying a mandatory check-in in person, not
Mhm.
digitally?
Monday
Okay.
after our last commission meeting. And you guys
But how do you
already
staff
went
that?
maybe it was
That'll be what
Friday
they talk about.
initially, now that I think about it.
They got to take money from campgrounds.
So it was very early on, so I appreciate your efforts to get together both on the program review for Deer, but also this pilot study. So, and I know it's complicated.
How's it going, producer?
And I know you're working on how to present. the
Producer
information.
Tony.
It's
So-
gone.
I want you to know I see you.
And
I
look
see you in the
forward to
background,
that
and I see the work that you're putting
presentation.
in, getting things and
Even
doing
with that
stuff.
candle on, you can see him.
Well, you're also facing the
All right,
background,
thanks.
so I hope
Thank
you
you
can see
guys.
what's going
I just
on.
wanted to add that they have been working really hard on this, and I also met with the head of Wildlife Management
Yeah,
Institute.
we need Joe
WMI,
Davis.
Tony
He's a
Bosley,
pro
who
at
is
this.
a
Yeah, he's a
former
pro.
state director out of Nevada.
And then it comes in
who was
clutch with
a
comments
recovery
too.
deer biologist like Chad. So he has a ton of background on this, and they have a great crew that is
So,
looking
what are we-
at this. I'm
what are we
pretty
on?
excited about it, actually.
This is the pilot program for.
It's going to show us.
Oh, we're
what
still
data
on
we
the pilot
have,
program.
what
Yep.
data
Okay.
we may need, and what we don't have. I will tell you, Michigan is a leader in the nation, and we have the longest.
Yeah, Matt, those were
standing deer
the-
harvest recording.
That's what I remember. Montcalm.
survey
What,
in the
was
country,
is
and
Montcalm?
there
Did
is
someone
a
look it
lot.
up? Is
We
Montcalm
do
in zone
have quite a
3
bit
or is
more
that
data
zone
than
2?
Other states and other states.
That's zone
look
2.
to us for
Okay, because I
that.
think I
So,
actually, yeah, that's just
I am excited
north,
to see
straight
what
north
they're
of
going
me.
to come up with here.
Yeah, because the
And
rifle
I've asked
line
them to
below,
come
south
to
of
Michigan and do
what
an
was the rifle line?
introductory,
That was zone 1, correct?
meet
Zone
and
3.
greet with our
That was
staff.
okay,
Yeah, so where I live is zone 3,
know
where
each
you
other
live zone 2,
personally.
and then
We
Yeah,
know
close
so
people
to
Montcalm
at
is zone 2.
WMI, but
Yeah.
not all of our staff.
UP
do.
zone.
So I think they'll be doing that hopefully in August here, and we'll go from there. That concludes director's report.
That makes the most sense, Matt. Like that they just use those counties because they have data from CWD there. They have data from running APR before. It'll be kind of nice to see APR versus this Earn a Buck thing. From what I remember, when they had the APR in that area, they did show an increase in doe harvest. I know for sure in Kent County because that's the county I spent time in.
With that, we'll move into public appearances as Brooke is coming up here to go over the.
So fill me in.
public
They approve. That's what they're kind of looking at doing is getting the Earn a Buck potentially for
5 counties.
5 counties in zone 2.
Well, and I
Zone
think
3.
that,
Zone 3, not zone 2. So zone 3 is southern Michigan.
yeah, it's been approved already that that's going to happen. What they're doing now is just providing an update as to what that looks like. They're trying to produce what that looks like. So they're saying they're going to update again in July and then August. And August